Is it paranoia? Or is it survival instinct? We often tell ourselves that the noise in the basement is just the wind, that the weird stranger is just weird. But sometimes that gut feeling is the only thing standing between you and a terrible fate. Tonight, we have 3 terrifying true stories about isolation, glitches in reality, and the unwanted guests living in our homes. Lock your doors. Let's begin. I've always preferred winter camping. No bugs, no crowds, just silence. Last January, I drove my truck deep into the Adirondack Mountains. It was just me and my German Shepherd, Duke. I found a clearing miles away from the nearest road. The snow was waist deep in some places. I set up camp, built a fire, and settled in. The isolation was perfect, or so I thought. Around 9 p.m., Duke stood up, his ears pinned back, hair bristling. He let out this low, vibrating growl that I felt in my chest. I scanned the tree line. Nothing but black void and snow. Then I saw it. A silhouette stepping out from behind a pine tree, maybe 30 feet away. It was a man, no gear, no backpack, just a heavy coat that looked too thin for the freezing temperature. He didn't walk towards me. He just stood there, just outside the ring of firelight. I called out, "Can I help you?" He didn't answer immediately. He took a slow step forward. The firelight hit his face. He looked hollow, pale. "I saw your fire," he said. His voice was flat, monotone. "You're far out here," I replied, my hand drifting to the knife on my belt. "Where's your camp?" He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Around." He stared at Duke, then back at me. "You shouldn't be here alone. The ice is thin." There was no lake nearby. Duke barked, a vicious warning snap. The man's smile dropped instantly. He turned and walked back into the darkness, disappearing as silently as he arrived. I didn't sleep. I sat by the fire with my knife until the embers died. Hours later, around 3 a.m., I heard it. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Footsteps, circling the tent. They would stop right behind where my head was resting against the canvas, then start again. He was pacing around me, hunting. I waited until the first light of dawn, packed my gear in record time, and sprinted to the truck. I found footprints in the snow that morning. They circled my tent for hours. But the scariest part? Looking at the tracks, I realized he had been barefoot. This happened during a 4th of July trip to Savannah, Georgia. I was visiting my friend Leo. Savannah is known for being haunted, but I wasn't expecting this. We were walking near the riverfront, enjoying the crowds. That's when I noticed him. A man wearing a muddy, vintage tuxedo, like something from the 1920s. He had long, greasy hair and was walking with a strange jerking motion, shambling, like a marionette with loose strings. The street was packed, but he was walking alone in the middle of the road. We steered clear of him. "Drug addict," Leo whispered. We walked faster, turning down a side street to get away. We walked for maybe 15 minutes, crossing to a completely different district of the city. We turned a corner, and my blood ran cold. There he was again, ahead of us, same muddy tuxedo, same jerking walk. It was impossible. We'd walked fast. He was shambling slow. There's no way he could have passed us. We stopped, watching him. He turned his head slowly, like an owl, and looked right at us. His eyes were wide, too wide. Later that night, we were on a ghost tour in a crowded square. Hundreds of people. Suddenly, the crowd parted. The man in the tuxedo was there. moving through the people, but nobody seemed to react to him. It was like he was on a different frequency. He brushed past me, and I felt a wave of freezing cold air. That night, sleeping on Leo's couch, I woke up to a tapping sound on the glass. I looked at the window facing the alley. It was him, pressed against the glass, smiling. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking past me into the empty room. I blinked, and he was gone. I don't know if he was a ghost, a glitch, or a psychopath. But I never went back to Savannah. I live alone in a quiet suburb. My life is boringly predictable. Gym, work, sleep. That routine is probably what saved my life. It started small, things slightly out of place. One morning, I woke up and my phone was on the floor. I distinctly remembered plugging it in on the nightstand. I thought maybe I knocked it over in my sleep. Then, the battery was drained, 15%. Odd, but I brushed it off. 2 nights later, I came home from the gym at midnight. The back door was unlocked. I am obsessive about locks. I know I locked it. I felt a prickle of fear. I searched the house. Empty. Closets empty. Under the bed empty. I told myself I was losing my mind. I got a heavy-duty bolt installed the next day. That night, I pushed a dining chair against the back door, just in case. I woke up at 3 a.m. Silence, then creak. It came from the ceiling. I laid there, paralyzed. My house is a single story. Above me is just the crawl space and insulation. Creak. Drag. Someone was dragging themselves across the rafters above my bed. I grabbed my keys and ran. I didn't look back. I called the police from my car down the street. They arrived and searched the house. They found the access panel to the attic crawl space in the hallway was open. Inside, they found a sleeping bag, empty water bottles, and a pee jar. A man had been living in my ceiling for weeks. He'd been coming down while I slept to use my charger and eat my food. They arrested him. He was a drifter, wanted in 2 other states, but here's the part that keeps me awake at night. The police took my phone as evidence because he had been using it. When I got it back, I looked through the gallery. There was a photo in the deleted folder. It was a photo of me, sleeping in my bed, mouth slightly open. The timestamp was 3:12 a.m. He wasn't just using my phone. He was watching me dream. We check under the bed for monsters, but we rarely check the ceiling, or the alleyway, or the deep woods. If you enjoyed these stories, hit subscribe. And tonight, maybe keep your phone close. You never know who might want to use it while you sleep.